My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive. We're going to look at the energy. We're doing our midweek check-in, so we're looking at the energy that has brought us here today and how the rest of the weekend is going to fare out. There is some tough transits playing out that, can bring up a lot of fun situations and experiences, but we'll dive a little bit deeper into that via the tarot astrology, any channel messages that come through. I'll also incorporate Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that we can really implement to optimize our highest functioning mind, body, and soul. So let's get into it. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully riding the waves of the intensity that definitely is playing out right now. We had that full moon in Aquarius last week, and that definitely kind of started amplifying the tension. We had a little bit of some quiet time, like where things died down a little bit, and then now they're just kind of ramping back up again, unfortunately or not. I don't know. I think it's a good thing, honestly. We're moving into this Lionsgate portal as well on August 8th. It is the alignment of the sun in Leo with Sirius, the star Seers, which is known as the spiritual sun. So it helps link us to wisdom, to wealth, to fresh starts. This is a lot about investing in self. And Leo definitely has this energy of putting self front and center, but in a way that we're connecting with our creativity, our charisma, our unique sense of self, what makes you you, and then how we're bringing that back to the world. Jupiter is in Leo right now as well, so it's a really fortunate time to kind of get things up and running, especially on the material plane, right? Like if you're looking for a little extra money in your pocket, or you're trying to grow your abundance in whatever kind of way, this is a really good time to do it. However, with the challenges that we're running into, it can definitely put us down or put us in a position where it doesn't feel as easy, as achievable to achieve our goals, right? To go after our goals, or I know like there's also just a lot of old stuff that's being unpacked right now. The full moon last week ended our 6-month eclipse cycle. We'll be starting a new one on the 12th with the new moon solar eclipse, in Leo. So a lot of what is happening right now is we're able to glean information about our environment, about our relationships, what they actually are, and then that Leo energy really helps empower us to make the necessary change, which solar eclipses are all about. It's about changing our external environment. And it is that value of like, if you don't like certain aspects of yourself, maybe you don't have to like cut things out. Maybe it's just a revamping, right? Like maybe just something doesn't deserve as much time, energy from your resources, etc. Or maybe something has run its course and it is time to close chapters on certain aspects of life, or, wherever you're finding yourself today. So I'm going to start off the reading with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. If it's not your vibe, you can totally skip ahead and still receive the blessings, still receive the good vibes. I do put the chapters down below as a heads up. I'm also, sorry, I'm a little sick, like just cold, congestion, etc. So my voice might be a little hoarse as I'm hearing it crack, but just as a heads up. I also provide a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul. I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are in alignment with self, that's really where we're able to tap into our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance. And I would love to help support you in that in whatever way possible. definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, with that, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so I may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me the clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama love, Mama love. We all need a little extra love right now, right? I'm picking up this energy of like you just trying to sort something out. Like and it does feel like it is a divide between what you authentically know to be true, like about yourself, about your situation, about your circumstances, versus like maybe certain untruths or lies that have been imposed on you, like things that maybe you've believed, but you're trying to let go of certain beliefs, or you're trying to let go of certain ways of showing up in your world because you know there is something better. And I feel like we often get this energy of empowerment in Leo season. It's a nice energy. We have to be a little bit mindful right now about not being too arrogant, not functioning too much out of the pride, out of the ego. We have this magic triangle that is kind of waning. It had its peak in June, but it's still there. It's still a factor that's playing out right now in the astrology. And it is essentially about we can choose to make spiritual growth, spiritual evolution, be that better version of yourself, overcome some of the difficulties and challenges that you're being faced with so you can have a better life, right? And a lot of this is highlighted through the retrogrades we're experiencing. Chiron just went into retrograde, which is the wound healer. So it helps us heal those maybe more primitive parts of self so we can be spiritually evolved, whatever that means for you. I'm not trying to get too, if it's not your bag or whatever, too religious about anything. But it's not about religion. It's about spirituality. It's about the way that we connect with our authentic self, or however you understand that. So it does look like maybe you need to have fun a little bit. We actually did get this in the blocked energy, ironically or not, for our weekly forecast. So it's a good opportunity to just maybe let some of the burdens off to the side this weekend. Maybe you do have some stuff that you got to get done on your to-do plate, etc. But I'm also picking up this energy of a lot of back and forth, right? Like even whether this is within self, whether you're trying to hash something out with someone, or, you're trying to figure out the end goal of a situation, it feels like it has been an energy drain, right? It feels like maybe you're getting lost in the back and forth and not so much that grounding in self of, even when we don't have the answers, we can always say like, okay, like I know that they will come to me in the right time, in the right way. Sometimes we do need to give ourselves that space to process through and really understand what's happening in our life. But sometimes if all we're doing is thinking about it and analyzing it and whatever, it just ends up depleting our energy. And as I was saying this is really interesting. So we have the seeker, the weaver, and sacred sexuality. Leo is the energy of connecting with our sensuality, sexuality. And I don't mean that in a vulgar way. I mean it more in that vein of, again, like how we're connecting with those aspects of ourselves. And this feels like, this energy feels like you're seeking how to allow yourself to come out, right? Like maybe coming out of your shell or realigning with a part of you that feels like it's been put down, or you haven't been allowed to be that version of yourself for whatever reason. You've closed it off. And I feel like a lot of times when we're in these spaces, it gets really It's a great time to play. It's a great time to have fun. It's a great time to just kind of let some of the stress and the burden off our shoulders. Excuse me. Not good. Sorry, I apologize. One more. I apologize. Yeah, so playing, having fun, releasing some of that burden. It does let our, inner child come out. It does help us connect with dynamics within self that maybe have been long forgotten. Surrender. Okay, so places that maybe we're trying to convince or force the issue. It is about not being so heavy-handed right now. I'm never a proponent of being a doormat or just, not putting truth to self, like speaking truth is what I'm saying. Like speaking your truth. Again, in a way that's not not avoiding, but in a way that's honoring self. Avoiding responsibility is what I mean by that. But it feels like there's certain dynamics or where that push and pull, that back and forth is playing out for you. Is that you're seeing that there's only so much you can do. There's only so far you can get. The creator, I like this. And so maybe you are putting something on the sidelines for now. Or it's gotten as far as it needs to go. And it's now time to focus on yourself. Lots of creative energy coming through. It's a really good time to do some creative projects. Do it yourself. DIY. Sorry. Oh. I apologize. I don't know if I can cut that out either. I apologize. Yeah, but it's a really good time to get creative. Right? Maybe just do something that's really good for your soul, something that you're interested in. Drawing, painting, photography, putting something together, something that a DIY, something that does kind of inspire you, change up a room in your house or just find a way to get creative and remove yourself from whatever has been weighing you down or whatever really doesn't have any options right now. The places that, again, it feels like it's a little bit more of a depletion on our energy versus something that's actually life-giving. And I feel like Spirit is pumping the brakes on certain things in your life so that you're not losing yourself in those dynamics. And I feel it's really interesting. We've been getting this paradox card a lot. And it really speaks to how, as we kind of let go of the uncertainty or what we don't know, or we engage in an active surrender, it really does help us see things clearly. And those paradoxes do present themselves. Not easy, right? Because it is holding two conflicting ideas together at the same time. And we've been seeing this a lot lately where there's a lot of different things that can be true. There's a lot of different things that can be true. But not all information is being revealed right in this moment in time. The secret is in your blocked energy. So I'm feeling like, again, this is either seeking out too much knowledge or continuing to play out in the back and forth and it's not getting anyone anywhere. And a need to kind of rein it in. A need to, again, be more focused on self. The world that you are building and creating for yourself. This feels very powerful too. And I feel like in that, it is about you standing or claiming your power or stepping into your power or empowering self, however you want to understand it. But in this way that you're not letting the outside world present a lot of distractions. And again, that's kind of easier said than done right now because of the tension that we do have playing out in the astrology. There is a lot of support. The support is more on the spiritual level of things. So like when we're committing to a higher evolution of self. But some of those things do need to be put on the back burner. Having a little bit of fun, getting creative, not putting yourself in a box right now is what I'm hearing. Allowing yourself to have some space, to have some freedom. Because I feel like in these moments, it's going to highlight the information that you do need to know. And I don't think that like what's coming out of this is this revealing answer, right? Like it feels like whatever knowledge you are gaining in this process, it's just highlighting where the lies or where untruth has kind of claimed a hold in your life. Whether it's from the people that you surround yourself with, or it's from within self, the belief about self, about what you can actually do and what you can achieve. So a huge theme for the rest of the week is putting certain things on the back burner, allowing yourself to have a little bit of fun, not be so serious, get creative. The Empress, okay. Taurus, Libra energy. She's the quintessential mama in the tarot. We have the Star. You're coming in as the Star, Aquarius energy. This is healing. I love this too because it really just reminds me of like what you are hopeful for, the reason that you are doing the work that you're doing. And I feel like right now it can be a little bit difficult because of certain dynamics that are challenging that healing work, certain dynamics that are maybe trying to hold you back or pull you back into unhealthy cycles, patterns, toxicity. You could be dealing with a mother figure right now, or we'll see who this Empress is to you. Or maybe this is someone that you do trust, someone that you can confide in, someone that you can release your burdens and go have some fun and enjoy. Yeah, well, maybe not. Sorry. This feels like more someone that you're having the issue with. This feels like someone who has some type of position of power. Like I said, it could be a mother figure. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be a boss. It could be, just someone who's in authority or you do have to listen to or does have some amount of authority over you with this Two of Wands. It's someone who's having a really hard time with the healing that you're doing and the way that you're going about it. But again, what we're seeing in the very beginning is it's like there's not much more you can do right now because something is at an impasse. And it does look like it is choices on this person's end with the Two of Wands and their blocked energy. This is someone that's having a really hard time giving you credit or doesn't want to acknowledge the healing that you are doing. Instead, it feels like, again, trying to keep something limited. Because we'll clarify a little bit more on what the motivation and intention is. But I do feel like a sense of, I don't know, it's like you're not doing it their way or you're not doing it how they want you to do it. And so it ends up creating, 100%. It ends up creating a lot of discord. Six of Wands is in your blocked energy. So you are pursuing healing, but it is in a way to be successful in your own right, and and it's interesting, oftentimes we're mirroring the energies that we're dealing with. And I feel like this Empress, whoever you're dealing with, it's the same for them. They're holding their ground because of what they think and feel about the dynamic, or about how you should be acting and behaving. And the fact that you're not, then they're only going to give you so much credit or none at all, right? This feels a little bit more, like I said, someone who's withholding, someone who's more emotional about the process that's happening. Even if they do see it's a good thing, the Hermit, Six of Cups, the Chariot, and Nine of Swords have popped out. So it is making them think, however, right? Like, you know, with Six of Cups, this can be a long-term connection, someone that you have known or have had around in your life for a long time. It does look like you're pulling away in a way that, like I said, it's for your own success. It's for your own benefit. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is really stressing someone out. It's stressing someone out. They're feeling uncomfortable with the amount of empowerment that you're showing. And this is kind of like characteristic of Leo season, because just as when you're able to stand in your power, someone else might not like that, you know? I was in the store the other day, like returning something at UPS, and the guy was just being rude, you know? And I just was like, I just finally said, I've had a really heavy week. I had someone very close to me pass away. It's been heavy. And I just was, and I know that's my stuff, but I just was like, can you just like be a little bit nicer? And he's like, I think I am being nice, you know? And I was just kind of like, and I'm sitting here like, I'm the customer, and you know, whatever. Not that we have to get into these like, I'm right and he's wrong and blah, 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 blah. But the way he was coming across was rude. It was impatient. He was being disrespectful about like the things that I needed to do at the store, what I needed to return, whatever. But he didn't even want to hear it, right? And that's also a part of Leo energy, right? If we're too much in our ego, too much in our pride, that arrogance, that can take us down a not so good path or get us results that we're not really wanting to achieve anyway, right? And we'll see, you know, maybe there is some of that that's playing out for you. We'll see. There's that Hermit card. So you are making someone think, you are making someone reevaluate. Yep, and there's our Chariot. And you saw me shuffle, I promise. I can't see the cards on the other side. I love those double confirmations, though. It is a very empowered energy, but again, something's not used to this part of you. And it does conflict with either their narrative of you or how they want you to behave or what they expect you to do. You know, and here's the thing. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, because to me, it looks like you're showing by example, and that example is necessary. It's important to you to kind of stand in your power in the way that you're not limiting yourself for other people, right? You're not putting yourself on the back burner so you can cater to everyone else's wants and needs. And it does look like this is challenging someone. And again, I'm seeing this in a good way, because where they kind of want this certain element of control or, you know, to feed into how you're doing things, whether it's right, wrong, good, bad, etc. You're kind of sitting here saying, well, maybe, but this is also what I need to do for me. These are the things that I need to do for me to make my life better. And if you understand it, great. If you don't, great. You know, I don't see you necessarily. It's not that you're not accommodating, or it's not like you're not hearing other people, but I do feel like it's these conversations or these interactions, like this is what's best for me, and you can choose to get on board or not. And it does look like that is hard for someone, because usually the Empress is an energy of someone who is put together, who does kind of operate out of higher principles or has more wisdom, has more understanding, experience in life. And again, I feel like that's why there's a lot of projection onto you. And whatever, we'll clarify some of this, whatever they're having a hard time understanding, I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant anymore, you know? It almost feels like it's actions that you've taken to separate, to distance yourself. I'm very drawn to the World and the VW bus. Super fabulous. I love my VWs. But like it's, you know, you're exploring whether you're, you know, you've moved or you're traveling or, you know, someone doesn't agree with that, or you're just exploring other ways of being in your life, other ways of showing up. It's very difficult for someone. But I do see them like wanting some type of connection. And this makes a lot of sense because they're ending with the Three of Pentacles, the Hermit and the Three of Pentacles. So the ability to kind of go within and do some self-discovery, do some reevaluation. Three of Pentacles is showing up as an energy of wanting to work together. So I would say in this dynamic, it looks like there's not much you can do until someone makes a choice. And again, I don't know if you're trying to do anything because you feel very focused on self and maybe a little bit to your detriment, especially in this situation. You know, because the Six of Wands, let me clarify that. The Six of Wands can be a little bit arrogant, like I was talking about that Leo energy. And I'm not throwing shade at you. Please don't hear it as that, because there's a reason why you feel like you need to kind of stand in this certain space, why you need to have certain boundaries. Let's look and see what that is. Why the Six of Wands for the collective? All right, so we have 10 of Cups. Well, so it is about your happiness. And, you know, that's important. You want to be happy in your life. 10 of Swords. Eek. That's betrayal, backstabbing, repeated cycles of toxicity, and Page of Pentacles. I feel like there just was something that you weren't really vibing with anymore, you know, and it really did center around your happiness, your stability. Again, this feels a little bit, I'm going to clarify this Two of Wands, but it feels a little bit like how something else wanted you to participate. And right now, they're not budging either. Temperance popped out. We both got Temperance. But you're having a hard time as they switch their tune. They're having a hard time with you right now in terms of like what you're choosing, and that it might not be favorable to them, or it might not be what they want. But then as they kind of soften or like change their tune a little bit more, that's where it's not going to be so easy for you. Because I feel like right now you are in a stride of empowerment. You're feeling good about the choices that you are making. And it's propelling you to continue to make those choices for self. And it looks like it's good. You know, it looks like it's good. It looks like whatever you're doing is helping your life overall as a whole. This makes a lot more sense with this paradox now, because I feel like as they do change their tune, it's going to present not a different side. This is a side that I feel like you know, that you're familiar with. That's not, but it's going to be like, oh, this is what it is. Like, why couldn't you have said that before, or whatever, you know? Or it doesn't all add up. That's the thing. It doesn't all add up. And I feel like that's where this Temperance energy is really hard for you to understand, or give someone something, the credit that they're seeking. And again, maybe this is someone that you've given these hall passes to in the past. All right, let's clarify this Two of Wands. Why are they having such a hard time with the collective? What's the difficulty here? What's the difficulty? Okay, double confirmation. The cards never lie. I love it. Let's do this guy. Okay, Three of Cups. There's a certain expectation on relationship. Like they expect certain things from you. They expect certain things from you. I feel like they thought that it would work out differently, right? Like whatever the disagreement is, whatever the difficulty, the tension is, they thought eventually it would change. Like eventually it would look different. You would do things differently, or come back around, or you know what I mean? Like it has this vibe of like wanting to be friends, or wanting to have the same relationship, wanting to have the same bond. Maybe they don't like certain things that you're doing, and so they made choices accordingly. But now that they've made those choices, like, I don't know, they keep withholding. They keep withholding relationship from you, or they keep withholding something from you, like being in their good graces, or, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's a friend you fell out with. Maybe it's just someone who's like trying to get you to learn. Like I was hearing penalize or punish you. There might be a little bit of those undertones as well. If that doesn't resonate, don't pick it up. But it definitely has this vibe of someone waiting until the time is right. But it also kind of looks like the time is never right, or wherever you guys have gotten to at this point, you're continuing to move ahead. Because the Chariot and the Six of Wands is movement. It's empowerment, and it's movement forward in a way that is very honoring to the life that you are growing and building, i.e. what you are creating. And again, that's like the main message. Spirit wants you to focus on those things, not so much on whatever someone has a problem with you around. You know, there's a way to handle problems. There's a way to have conversations. There's a way to meet each other at a certain level. And if we can't do that then, right? And this might even be someone who thinks they're better than you because of this Empress vibe. Feeling like they have, I don't know, it just feels like there might not be a lot of grace, a lot of understanding. It feels like there's a lot of projection on how you should do things versus like acknowledging that you're a person, you're an individual, and you have your own way of doing it. And even if like, you know, even if you have made mistakes or things haven't been super easygoing or copacetic or whatever, you're still healing from it. That's what the star is all about. It might not be like you're in the perfect place right now, but it is a promise. It's the promise of like what you are doing is the right thing, and it is leading you in the right direction. But it also looks like that's very hard for someone. It does look like it's going to force them to reevaluate. And I think they are doing the reevaluation. I think they're doing it in a way that I think maybe you want ultimately. But again, once the rubber hits the road, it feels like it's going to be an interesting conversation. A conversation that I don't know if you're as on board with. It looks like you had to end a cycle. It looks like you've worked really hard to close something out. With the King of Wands energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. A cycle that wasn't easy. Five of Cups, there's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of pain. Needing to self-protect, not feeling vulnerable, right? Feeling vulnerable with this Knight of Cups in reverse. Interesting. Like you had to pull back your energy, whether it was just from this person or from another situation. And the way the situation was faring, like this person didn't really like how you were doing things, right? Whether it was intentionally against them or not, you know? I'm going to clarify this Temperance. Okay, we got the Moon. Yeah, it's bringing up a lot of emotions. But there might even be, okay, so we have the Moon, we have the Sun. So there is some clarity coming in, but a lot does come with that. And the Seven of Wands. It does help you see things from a new vantage point, but I think as you're seeing things from a new vantage point, it also brings in a whole lot of other things that you need to sift through. And that's why I feel like right now, there's not a whole lot you can do. And especially if you've been in a situation over these past few weeks where the energy is heavy, where you've devoted a lot of time, energy to kind of helping something, trying to iron something out, trying to make it better, and it's just not going anywhere, definitely take time to just focus on yourself. Have a little fun. Try not to get too involved in the drama, in what you can't control. Because it's not going to help whatever this situation is. If anything, it's like this person needs your boundaries, or they need you to kind of say, you know, set those boundaries in order to do some soul searching within them. Because as of right now, there's a lot of finger pointing, there's a lot of projection, and not a lot of understanding. And maybe that goes both ways. I'm not accusing you of being all good and them all bad. I'm not trying to say that. Everybody plays a role in dynamics. But it does feel like It does feel like you're getting the short end of the stick, just in the way things are being handled. And again, maybe right now it's just not the time. Seeing beyond, look beyond the obvious, trust your intuition to reveal deeper insights. And maybe you kind of understand, like, again, especially if this is a long-term dynamic, like maybe this is just like, you can kind of see it, you can kind of understand, you know this person, why they're doing X, Y, and Z and whatnot. And maybe right now it's about not taking it so personally or not letting it hit so close to home. Again, staying focused on yourself, on your life, not getting distracted with other people's stuff. Let them have their own journey, their own learning experiences, what they need to go through. It's not your responsibility to keep it up and running. Yes, and it's about your inner peace. In moments of peace, intuition speaks the loudest. I feel like, you know, I don't know. I don't know that you have to do, maybe obviously always being connected to our intuition is very beneficial. But I'm not hearing that you need to like, you need to like listen to your intuition in these circumstances per se. Yes, maybe, you know, to some capacity. But I feel like this is more about that surrender component that we saw earlier, right? Surrendering to what it is, what you can't control, where you need to kind of just give yourself a little bit of extra grace and space for what is happening. And allowing people, situations to come to you in their own time. Because you do have a lot going on over here. You are still healing from something that does feel very violating, or it took a lot of your energy because you are in this like self-protection mode, not really wanting to go back down a certain road, etc. Safeguarding yourself, heartfelt guidance. Intuition comes deep within. Cherish and trust its guidance, 100%. And maybe the intuition is more about just like letting someone do what they need to do and not feeling this need to overcompensate, over-explain, try to like hash things out when the energy is just not right for it right now. Especially with this Lionsgate portal, it's more this value of empowerment and self. And I feel like even with whatever you are dealing with, they need the time, the energy, the space to sort things out within themselves. And either they haven't done that yet, or, you're kind of just still in the thick of everything. And so it's fresh, it's raw, it's hard to look beyond. And maybe that is just even something that will really help you as well, right? Not being so caught up in the drama, but trying to pull back and see the bird's eye perspective and really, just give grace and credit where it's due, not to be subservient, still have your boundaries, because I do think those are necessary and important. And I think you're going to need your energy. You're going to need to safeguard your energy resources for whatever's coming up on the other side of this with this temperance energy. Because it does feel like there is more back and forth. There is more push and pull. And maybe not everyone is going to be satisfied at the end of it. Maybe there are just going to be some things that, you agree to just disagree over. But we also need the clarity. We also need the insight on what these dynamics are really bringing to our life and whether we want them involved or not, and how we're going to do that moving forward. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. I super appreciate you always. Just know I love to connect. I love to just hear how things resonate, or, just say, hey, sharing a little love, little TLC, dropping comments below, liking, subscribing, all helps, as you guys know. But I appreciate all the love and support, and just know I'm sending it back your way. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Stay strong. Try not to get too succumb to the tension and the frustration, especially if it's not going anywhere. We'll check in. I'll do a live on Saturday morning for our health and well-being, and then upload some videos the rest of the week. So thanks so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you have a fabulous Thursday, and I will talk to you soon.